Good day everyone, and I'm Ruben S. Villanueva, and I will be a reporter today from 2-5 Bachelor in Filipino Education. We will discuss all about Constructivism, one of the most popular philosophy of learning. A brief history of Constructivism. Although the roots of Constructivism can be traced back to the Greek philosophers Heraclitus, Protagoras, and Aristotle, it was only in 1934 that the French philosopher Gaston Bachelard claimed that nothing proceeds from itself, nothing is given, all is constructed, and only in 1967 that John Piaget first used the expression constructivist epistemology. There are different types of constructivism. First, epistemological constructivism is a philosophical view that our knowledge is constructed in that it is contingent on convention, human perception, and the most important is the social experiences. Number two is the social constructivism, or also known social constructionism. It's a theory in sociology and learning theory that categories of knowledge and reality are actively created by social relationships and interactions. Third is the psychological constructivism, theory about and investigates how human beings create systems for meaningfully understanding their worlds and experiences. Fourth, genetic epistemology is a type of constructivism established by John Piaget which studies the origins of knowledge. It purports to show that the method by which the knowledge was obtained or created affects the validity of that knowledge. Fifth is a mathematical constructivism. Is a view in philosophy of mathematics that is necessary to find or construct a mathematical object to prove that it exists. Intuitionism is a kind of mathematical constructivism which maintains that the foundations of mathematics lie in the individual mathematician's intuition, thereby making mathematics into an intrinsically subjective activity. Last but not the least is aconstructivism. Is also the name of the movement in 20th century Russian art and architecture, as well as a discipline of international relations and world affairs. What is constructivism? Constructivism is also known as constructionism, which views all of our knowledge as constructed in that it is contingent on convention, human perception, and social experiences. The constructivist point of view is both pragmatic and relativistic in nature. Constructivism is basically a theory based on observation and scientific study on how people learn. It says that people construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing things and reflecting on those experiences. Constructivism represents big ideas in education. Constructivism is very useful inside the classroom. What are the aims of constructivism? First, we have to focus on the learner in thinking about learning, not only on subject or lessons to be taught, because the most important thing is about the knowledge and learnings they get. Number two, learning is an active process in which the learners uses sensory input and constructs meaning out of it. Third, physical actions, hands-on experiences may be necessary for learning, especially for children, but it is not sufficient. We need to provide activities which engage the mind as well as the hands. Do we call this reflective activity? Fourth, our learning is intimately associated with our connection with other human beings, our teachers, our peers, our family, as well as casual acquaintances, including the people before us or next to us at the exhibit. What is the setting of constructivist classroom? In the constructivist classroom, the focus tends to shift from the teacher to the students. The classroom is no longer a place where the teacher serves as the expert that pours knowledge into passive students who wait like empty vessels to be filled. In constructivist model, the role of the students is to actively and collaboratively involve in their own process of learning, while the role of teachers functions more as a facilitator who coaches, mediates, prompts, and helps students to develop and assess their understanding and thereby their learning. One of the teacher's biggest jobs become asking good questions. In constructivist classroom, teacher and students think of knowledge not as insert factoids to be memorized, but as a dynamic and active to successfully stretch and explore new perspectives and ideas. What is the aura of constructivist classroom? First, curriculum emphasizes big concepts, beginning with the whole and expanding to include the parts. It does not emphasizes basic skills. 2. Pursuit of student questions and interest is highly valued. Third, materials include primary sources and manipulative materials. Fourth, learning is interactive, building on what the student already knows. Compared to traditional classroom, learning is based on repetition. Fifth, teachers have dialogue with students, helping students construct their own knowledge. Compared to traditional classroom, which teachers disseminate information to students, and students are recipients of knowledge. Sixth, teachers' role is interactive, rooted in negotiation, while in traditional classroom, teachers' role is directive, rooted in authority. 7. Assessment includes student works, observations, and points of view, as well as tests. Process is as important as product, while in traditional classroom, assessment is through testing and correct answers. 8. Knowledge is seen as dynamic, ever changing with our different experiences, while in traditional classroom, knowledge is seen as inert. Last but not the least, students work primarily in groups, while in traditional classroom, students work primarily alone. In constructivist classroom, learning is first, constructed, second, active, third, reflective, fourth, collaborative, fifth, inquiry-based. Last but not least, learning is evolving. First, learning is constructed. Students are not blank slates upon which knowledge is etched. They come to learning situations with already formulated knowledge, ideas, and understandings. This previous knowledge is the raw material for the new knowledge they will create. Second, learning is active. The student is the person who creates new understanding for him or herself. The teacher coaches, moderates, supports, but allows the students to experiment, ask questions, try things that don't work. Learning activities requires the students' full participation. An important part of learning processes is that students reflect on and talk about their activities. Students also help out their own goals and means of assessment. Third, learning is reflective. Students control their own learning process and they lead the way by reflecting on their experiences. This process makes them experts of their own learning. The teacher helps create situations where the students feel safe questioning and reflecting on their own processes, either privately or in a group discussions. The teacher should also provide activities that lead the students to reflect on his or her prior knowledge and experiences. Talking about what was learned and how it was learned is really important. Fourth, learning is collaborative. The constructivist classroom relies heavily on collaboration among students. Collaborative is very useful in which the main reason is constructivism is that students learn about learning not only from themselves but also from their peers. When students review and reflect on their learning processes together, they can pick up strategies and methods from one another. Fifth, learning is inquiry-based. The main activity in a constructivist classroom is solving problems. Students use inquiry methods to ask questions, investigate the topic, and use a variety of resources to find solutions and answers. As students explore the topic, they draw conclusions, and as exploration continues, they revisit their conclusions. Learning is evolving. Students have ideas that they have may later see were invalid, incorrect, or insufficient to explain new experiences. These ideas are temporary steps in the integration of knowledge. In totality of discussing one of the most popular philosophy of learning, which is constructivism, learning is a search for meaning. And learning is always search for meaning if the learners are actively trying to construct, to explore their own meanings and understandings with ideas, concepts, with their experiences. Teaching requires understanding wholes as well as parts. In order to teach well, we must understand the mental models that students use to perceive the world and the assumptions they make to support those models. Meaning, constructivism approach is very useful in the classroom, for it helps the students to boost their mind to have own meanings and understandings on ideas, concepts with the help of their experiences. Good day everyone, and I'm Ruben Villanueva from 2-5 Bachelor in Filipino Education. Good day everyone, and I'm Ruben S. Villanueva, and I will be a reporter today from 2-5 Bachelor in Filipino Education. We will discuss all about constructivism, one of the most popular philosophy of learning.